morning, y'all. I've been thinking about superheroes and superpower because that's what we're going to talk about today. So, Kathryn, I got to ask you, what did Wonder Woman say to Spider-Man?
I do not know.
You bug me. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You can tell that one to your son.
I will definitely do that.
Good morning. Good morning, Daily Huddle and Huddleites. What a beautiful way to start your day. Thank you for being here with us. We hope we leave you inspired and challenged and in the very best way to start your day. And in that same vein, let's start with a few questions that put us right here together, all with open minds and hearts. I'm going to start with my friend Sorrel. Good morning, Sorrel. Tell me, how are you and who will you hug today?
First, I'm not muted because I get to say the way I say I am. I am the way I say. And I'm out loud, fully expressed as the human being that I am right now. I am joyful, peaceful, and loving.
Feeling that. I am taking that in. Thank you.
And I'm going to hug my very dear friend, my son, Marlon.
Oh, what a lucky young man. Thank you for sharing that. Good morning, Andrea. I've missed seeing you a couple times. I'm so happy to see you. I hope you're feeling better. So please tell me this morning, where are you and what are you grateful for?
I am where I say I am, and I am right here. Because I could be somewhere else, but it doesn't work because I'm right here. I can change wherever I want to be in my mind, but I'm here, present. And I'm grateful for creativity. That's what I'm grateful for.
I love it. We are sisters. I just know that we are. Kathryn, tell us, my beautiful friend and co-host, what time is it?
Tara, the time is now. The only time there is.
I love it. That's right. We are here together in this moment, the only moment that we really can affect. It is Wednesdays on the Daily Huddle where we talk about everything communication and relationships, because we know that more effective, more authentic communication builds better relationships, and better relationships builds better families, better communities, and better business. And so today we have a special question for you all. And that question is, have you given any thought to your superpower? Could your superpower be hiding? Kathryn, please tell us a little bit about how we came up with this question and where we're going this morning.
Of course. Well, first of all, we wanted to build on last week, which was what if imposter syndrome could be your superpower? And we got into a really cool discussion about our superpowers. And I was telling Tara this story that I was invited on a retreat, to go on a retreat for the company that I work for. It was called a transformation retreat because the company has some really big, audacious goals they want to accomplish in the next few years. And in order to do that, they're going to have to really transform the way they do business. Well, as part of that, there were 5 of us there. And in order to get us connected to what we do best and who we are so that we could give it our all and come up with the best outcomes, they did something called an appreciation circle. And what that was for 10 minutes, we would focus on one person, and they asked several questions, one of which was, when you're in this person's presence, what are you inspired to do? Now, 10 minutes isn't a long time, but I don't know about you, but when somebody is telling you all the wonderful things about you, all the things that you inspire them to do, all of your, Sorrel's nodding, he gets it. It's like, it's a lot to take in. So they actually have somebody else writes down everything because there's no way you can really remember everything. And the point is to be really present with it. Well, wow. Some of the things I knew about myself, some of the things I was aware of, some of the things were surprising. And a lot of the things were repeated over and over again. And so telling me, wow, this is really something that they see in me that I didn't see in myself. And so it got us thinking like, wow, what if we have superpowers, things that we're really good at that people experience when we're around them, an impact that we have that we're not even aware of. So that's how we got started. And Tara, come in here with me, because one of the most amazing things about the Daily Huddle and how Tara and I work is we ended up having this conversation yesterday where she asked me, well, what do I inspire you to do? And in that moment, to really tap into who Tara is and what am I inspired to do when I'm around her, and then to share that with her, which I'll share it with all of you because you've probably seen this in Tara. Tara brings positivity everywhere she goes. So when I'm in Tara's presence, I'm inspired to get on with it. I can go to dark places, I can gossip, I can stay stuck in negative emotions. When I'm in Tara's presence, she doesn't have tolerance for that. She's like, that doesn't serve us. Let's move on. Let's keep this thing moving. And so that's what I'm inspired to do in her presence. So we've got a cool conversation about this, and we've got a challenge for you all today, a takeaway, something that you can work with.
That's right. We certainly do. The conversation yesterday, as we explored this, I just thought, wow, I wish that this would have just been the spontaneous conversation on the Daily Huddle. But now I'm grateful that it hasn't, because I've been thinking about it for 24 hours. And what I may think that I'm good at might not be what other people glean from me. And so to hear, and that's why we want to encourage you to find someone that you trust and respect, not necessarily your best friend, but somebody you really trust and respect. Sit with them and do this little mini retreat. Ask each other what it is that they inspire in you. And I will share a really powerful thing about my relationship with Kathryn that really shines a beautiful light on what this can mean to us if we choose to have these conversations. So I'm going to take you back to about 2 years ago. Someone introduced us, and they introduced us because they thought that we would get along well because we were entrepreneurs and we had children with special needs. And so we met at the Buckhead Club in a very kind of sterile environment, and the time flew by. And we were like, wow, we have something here. We barely talked about our children with special needs. We just had that, that very extraordinary opportunity where there's a connection. So we decided that soon after that, we would get together for a longer period of time. So here I go to spend an evening with a woman I'd only met once. I go to her house, and I get to her house. And first thing I said to her was, I need to use your restroom because you know Atlanta traffic. And I walked into the restroom, turned on the light, sat down on the toilet, looked up, and there were directions on exactly how to unzip my zipper, unbutton my button, and use that toilet. Then I got up and I go to wash my hands. And there were more instructions on how to use the soap, how to dry my hands, and remember to turn off the light. I walked out of that bathroom and I said, Kathryn, were those instructions for your son or for your drunk friends? She said both. No, but
They were just for you, Tara.
That sparked one of the most pivotal evenings that I've had in the past, I would say 8 years. And I want to tell you why. I thought about the intention it took to put that little note in the bathroom. And then I explored her home a little bit. There's so much detail and intention for her son, Michael, all over that home to keep him safe, to keep him learning, to keep him growing. And then as I asked her questions about his therapy and his school and his caregivers and his needs and his minuscule growth that he continues to make, And then to think that this is a single mom with another son running a badass business, talk about being inspired. And at the end of this evening, and I know you remember this, Kathryn, I thought, wow, I have always prided myself on being my daughter, Caroline, who has special needs, her warrior. And I realized that I had gotten complacent. And here we are 2 years later, and I am not overstating what I'm about to share with you all. My daughter has a new therapy program based on direction from Kathryn. She has new doctors in New York that have dramatically reduced her seizures, and her life is in a better place. And the work that I did to make that happen was inspired by Kathryn. And I share this because what is her superpower? She inspires me to do things I never thought was possible. And I don't even know that she knows that until we uncover it. Do you remember that evening?
I do. You're going to make me cry. I'm just trying to keep it together here, folks. I do. I do. And that's a great example because I just do what I do for Michael. I see a need, I figure it out, I fill it, track his progress, keep iterating, keep changing. So I don't see that as a superpower, and which is exactly what sparked the conversation. It's like, what do we do that we just do that we're not even aware of that has a huge impact on somebody else? And to hear you describe all that work, I have to be honest, I'm like, oh, thank God. It's worth more than just, it's worth it if it just helps Michael, but it just feels so good to be like, all that work can help somebody else too, So, wow. First of all,
I will say though that sometimes I think it's so much more that we're able to affect other people's lives just by their witnessing maybe something in our actions or our words more than anything that we say, because it wasn't only just that I saw, wow, if she can do it, I can do it too. It is. And I always say this about Kathryn. She has this way of sharing her wisdom with love. And that's exactly what she did that night. So it's early for questions, but I really would love to ask, and then let's explore that.
Yeah. And I want to pause this 1 second because there's something really important in here. I mentioned it briefly when I talked about the appreciation circle, and I'm noticing it again now. It is difficult for me, and I think for a lot of people, to receive that acknowledgement. And there is such a gift in me being able to inspire you or anyone being able to inspire another. And there is an even bigger gift to be able to receive when someone acknowledges you. So, and we will get to questions in just a sec, but we just did an acknowledgement ceremony for somebody who's worked for our company for almost 30 years.
Oh yeah.
We planned this. As a company, typically we are not great at acknowledging folks, but this one was a big deal. We spent months planning this. We had an arc and ideas of how we wanted it to impact him. And we even created it was a brand new award in honor of the work and service that he has contributed over the last several decades. So we had this ceremony this week. And when he opened that award and throughout the ceremony on Zoom with 50 people staring at him, he cried like a baby. And he sat there for almost 2 minutes, bawling, sobbing, staring down. You could see him staring at this gift, letting it wash over him, flow through him, what it meant for people to honor and acknowledge him in all of his gifts. And that forever changed me, because that was a gift to me to witness someone receiving. So I want to bring that in as we move forward. And yes, let's open it up to questions and hear what's out there.
Because it is challenging, and it's awkward to receive that kind of affirmation. But, and I say this in so much of my coaching, and you touched on it. We can say that we don't need that. We don't, just give me the paycheck and let me just move on down the road. We all need to matter. That is a core value that we share, to matter. And as awkward as it might feel, I want to, again, encourage us to find that person and lean into this.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you say about that? Brene Brown says, be awkward.
Be awkward, brave, and kind.
There we go. Be awkward, brave, and kind. So let's
I've
just be
got the
awkward
awkward
and
thing
brave.
down.
Sorrel has his hand raised.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Kathryn. You bring up for me a time in my life when it wasn't hard to receive acknowledgement. And so what came up for me this morning, all the memories I've forgotten about how my mother and my father raised me. I didn't mind when my mother told me I was beautiful. That wasn't awkward for me. I didn't mind when she told me I was smart. And at the time, it's not like I thought I wasn't smart. It's that she said I was smart. And then as a result of her saying that, I got to know myself as smart.
Mm.
And she would say, you're brave. I remember in Haiti, there would be construction and the dump truck would come and there would be rocks in the dump truck. And when they let the rocks off, it made this awful noise. And I would run and hide under the bed. And she pulled me out one day and said, you're brave. And the next time the dump truck came around, I was having fun watching the rocks fall off. And so what's coming up for me is that, oh my God, all my life, at least when I was growing up, I had this circle of acknowledgement, and I'm grateful for it. And I was never embarrassed by it, made awkward by it. In fact, that circle of acknowledgement created me. And I'm thinking maybe the superpower that's in others gets revealed through my acknowledgement. And it doesn't matter if I know them or have been in communication with them. I can just walk around being a circle of acknowledgement for others. And whether they have that capacity or not, my saying it actually engenders that in them. So I'm grateful for this guy. and I'm claiming as my superpower being the acknowledgement circle for others.
Aw, I
So
love that.
Kathryn and Tara, I acknowledge you as the space where superheroes get created every day, just because we say.
I love that, Sorrel. Thank you.
I wish I'm gonna have my husband watch this because you have a power that he still does not possess. I'm, the 5 love languages, and I'm a words of affirmation person. That's how my mom was much like yours. She was like, Tara, you can do anything in life you want to except sing. Anything else? Sorry. But when I try to tell my husband how amazing I think he is, he can barely stand it. I always just say, take it like a man. And then I give it to him. So it is so encouraging to hear that. I think that's a muscle that we strengthen to be able to receive affirmation and really put it to good. Like I thought my superpower was message crafting, but let's go deeper. What about you, Andrea? I know that you have superpowers that relate to your business, but there's something underneath that that's not so clearly like those hard skills. I would love to hear what your underlying superpower is. I know what it is.
Oh, you do? Oh, maybe your superpower is to find other superpowers. See, what triggered in a positive way for me the discussion was this superpower of clarity. Again, I don't know why it helped me your conversation is so clear that helped me figure it out, that clarity is something that drives me and the people around me. So potentially that clarity of helping people execute, but using clarity is one of those underlying superpowers that we tend to minimize, but instead we should put it out there for the clarity to be something growing around us and bringing more people around. So I don't know, it's that clarity. Oh, let's see what Giovanni is doing.
Mhm.
Oh, thank
Great.
you.
Love it.
Yes, and that's what thank you, Gio, because yes, that's what it gravitates to me. So if I'm organized, in order for you to be organized or provide organization to people and businesses, you have to start from a point of clarity. So that's why maybe clarity is that superpower
Mhm.
that I didn't think before until I see the results of being able to help people organize their thoughts and execute them. That's the
Right.
combination of the superpower. So thank you. This is awesome.
I love it. Well, and you said that sometimes the clarity is minimized. All you
Mhm.
need is somebody who is not clear to
Yes.
understand the power of
The
clarity.
power of clarity. So yes, I think that superpower is what I've been starting using more in the language, that when I'm helping people or creating plans or proposals, is that's my power. I provide clarity. That's
Wonderful.
what I've been using lately.
I love it. I
That's
love it.
huge. That is huge because
It
so
is.
many of us are, I mean, you and Kathryn probably have a lot in common because I am, as you guys know, a little bit all over the place all the time. I'm like messy and and she helps me with that clarity. So what a gift.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you for the
Sorrel.
space, ladies.
we have this cozy space so we can lean into Stan and his superpower. And what's coming up for you, Stan?
And Sorrel has his hand raised too.
Oh,
Go ahead, Stan. Yeah, we'll go
Be,
Stan first. Then
be
back to
honest
Sorrel.
with be honest with you, ladies. I'm just taking it back and enjoying it. I love the interaction between you two. I really do, and I love the experiences that your the experience that you've had and that you're having with your children, and how that has connected you to everything else in life, and the feeling that others go through the experiences you're having there.
Mhm.
So I'm just sitting back, just thinking about it. It's just a beautiful thing for me. Thank
Oh,
you
I
for
love
sharing
that.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Stan. Thank you. And Sorrel, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, the other thing that became evident in this conversation for me, and that's like the superpower of others, not mine, is that my mom didn't need evidence to speak into me a superpower.
Mhm.
So maybe as we're creating circles of acknowledgement for others, they don't need to actually give us evidence that they're X, Y, or Z. That we could simply say they are the way we say they are and speak that. So that's just coming up for me. And it's like, oh my God, that could be magical.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, and
people don't have to give me evidence that they're a certain way or not a certain way. I can speak them into existence by acknowledging them.
right. So many things come up for me when you say that, one of which is children. We create children, as they're growing, what we tell them, oh, you're terrible, you're awful, they start to believe that, or you're wonderful and amazing and brave. They start to believe that. And so it's exactly what you're saying. It's like, I'm going to tell you what I believe is true. And then it's an invitation for them to start to believe that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And the other thing that comes up for me is, I believe it's the Four Agreements. I could be wrong, but talks about, which is a book about a very wonderful book, but talks about how you can speak white magic or black magic. So your words are so powerful. And that is white magic. That is, and I don't love those words because they're colors, but that is why the book says it. But you can speak positively, positive magic or negative magic. You can speak something beautiful into someone, or you can speak something that you don't want them to grow into. And so thinking about that when we speak directly to people, and like, is this something I want to grow?
Hmm. That's interesting that you referenced that book. I think I've told you this before, that was one of the books that my son really leaned into when he was incarcerated. And he, to this day, talks about white magic and black magic and what you tell yourself. Because think about it, when you're in that setting, I mean, there's no positive affirmation. There's no hugs. There's no touching. There's like, protect what's yours, protect your body, protect your few belongings. And it was all the words inside his head that transformed him, all of it. So maybe our challenge today is bigger than finding that respected person. I think it's twofold. It's find that respected person, have the conversation. What is it that I inspire in you? And take time to really explore that. But then ask yourself what you're telling yourself.
Yeah. And I love that. And I want to speak a little bit about going into that conversation with somebody, because it's so easy for us to say, yeah, but thanks, but, and to start to negate that in our minds, just like you're saying, what are we telling ourselves about that? The powerful thing about it, the 10-minute appreciation circle with 4 other people speaking these things, is I couldn't deny it. And actually there were 2 other people in the room. There were some leaders that were guiding us through it. So there were even more people speaking. You can't, I couldn't deny it. So when you do have that conversation, I encourage people to write it down. Think about when that's been true, when that's been true, what they've said about you. Because to your point, Tara, I've thought about what you've said about your daughter and the impact I've had on you, and thinking, wow, that must be true. So have the conversation, and how are you going to receive that feedback? How are you going to turn that into a positive narrative in your own mind?
Right. Do you, on the flip side, like some people have a difficult time like taking that positive affirmation? And here's where I am with a couple, one friend in particular, but a couple of my friends right now, they're craving it. And we tend to not give it to people who seek it. I think that they're craving it for a reason. Would never, ever recommend being insincere. There's nothing I despise more than insincerity, but everyone has gifts and talents, and to articulate those to others is so important.
Tara, I love that you say that, because there's a situation that in my life that I've noticed where there's several people craving that affirmation. And it to me, I have to be honest, the impact is annoying. It's like, why are we doing this, vying for this appreciation, this acknowledgement? And then I did the same thing that you just did and said, people do things for a reason. And I started digging into why. And it's because there's not enough of it in the space. They need it.
Right. Not everybody had a mother like mine or Sorrel's.
It's absolutely true.
Or a parent. I mean, I know that I was blessed in that. But so many people, they've never had it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can be those people.
That's right. That's right. My mom's gone. And you sent me, I think I even shared this. You sent me a little text the other day. It was about it was the podcast. It was the Daily Huddle that I did when you weren't there. And you said the sweetest thing to me about it in the text. And I thought, wow, I don't hear words like that anymore. It sounded like my mom. We all need it. We all need those affirmations.
We do. Well, let's go out into the world and commit to being that affirmation, that appreciation circle for somebody else who may or may not need it, that at the moment, but we know that we all do deep down. This has been such a wonderful, intimate conversation. I feel like I've just been in a living room with like some of my best friends. So thank you all for being here and for your contributions. And we're going to close out today with our 7 tenets, which just feels so much more even like juicy and real and applicable. Love, share that love. Know who you are and see it in other people, and speak their beauty into being. Laugh out loud. That is one thing Tara brings. She brings laughter. So laugh out loud, stress less. It will allow you to sleep better, to get your 7 hours, be rested, rejuvenated, and restored. Eat more plants. We will all thank you. The earth will thank you. Your body will thank you. Give of your gifts. And yes, we can add an 8th one. This is 7A. Breathe today. Breathe. And as you're breathing, start to move that body. Move what your mama get. Oh, there she goes. There's Andrea. Thank you all so much for today. This has been wonderful. Join us tomorrow. on the Daily Huddle at 9 a.m. We'll see you there. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
I
you
like the way you
all.
fly, Andrea.
So heartwarming.
Yes.
Beautiful,
Come on,
beautiful.
Drea.
Thank you,
Fly
ladies.
together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, beautiful people.
Bye.
Bye.